Hello, my name is Jeff. This is Castle Tutelage, your 2A self-defense law network. This is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a little bit, there's going to be some facets to this. I already can tell I'm not going to be speaking well today. But the sheepdog mentality. We have to have the right sheepdog mentality that you do not usurp your will when you are a sheepdog. Now, when I talk about sheepdogs, I am not belittling them, but I am questioning some of their motives, because there is a lot of comments out there of the sheepdog mentality, and it really goes too far. And this is going to be one of those cases that that goes that far. Okay. Now, this guy, Storm character. This is what happened. I'm going to be telling you the story in a nutshell. He was at church. Some guy comes in, sits in some seats, and some other church parishioners tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, someone's already sitting there. Can you sit over here?" And he objected to that. The guy had a little bit of mental disorder. Okay, he wasn't all that there. All that there. That's good English, Jeff. But he was using bad English with bad words that was creating a disturbance. Then other people came over and tried to escort him out, and he had even a bigger reaction to that. So one of the pastors or priests, whatever you want to call them, told everyone to back off and just call the police. And at that point, the deranged, the upset guy settled down a little bit. All of a sudden, this guy, this Storm character, comes into the mix. And he didn't think that he was going to go away without being violent. Okay, again, this was in a church. Bad things happens in church. Okay. Now, what he did is he came over, asked the guy to leave, and the guy started getting a little bit belligerent again, started using bad English as far as four-letter words, and had a lot to say. Then this character, this Mark Storm's character, pulled this out. Okay, I don't know if it was this exact one, but if you see all here, you can get these concealed carry weapon permit badges, and initially it was designed so you can put it out so another sheepdog wouldn't shoot a good sheepdog, or a cop wouldn't shoot another guy because he's wearing a badge. Okay. That was the original intent behind it, but it has become a mindset. I've had one of these, I bought one of these things. I can't find it anymore. I was going to use it for this video. I have no idea where it is. I bought it to remind myself of stupidity. I've said a little while ago, came across this quote by Minnesota Fats. He says, "I learn a lot from smart people, but I learn the most from imbeciles." All right, this guy is on the edge of being an imbecile. Okay, he showed this weapon, the badge, to the deranged person. The deranged person looked at it right away and said, "That's fake." And he, used some more colorful English, and then it looked like the witnesses says Mark Storm took offense to that, so he lifted his shirt and showed his 9mm. At that point, the deranged guy punched him in the face, and then Mark Storm stepped back a couple of times and put two into his thorax, one hitting his heart, and him dying. That is, what is this? Please don't tell me. This is the guy. We're rolling a little bit of B footage here. You see he's not a big guy. He's kind of a little guy. I don't know, 5'4"-ish, something like that. Okay, that is going to be the synopsis of it. But what I found interesting was the sentencing for it. Now, he was convicted with manslaughter. In Pennsylvania, they have a recommendation between 4 and 6 years. But the judge did something interesting. What the judge did is he sentenced him to 10 to 20 years for this specific circumstance. Having the sheepdog mentality and usurping your own will against someone else who wasn't in an immediate threat of death of great bodily harm. No one was in this church. He remember the guy sat there quiet until Mark Storms came over him and created a big old storm about it. Got him provoked, got him excited, and that is the path that ran down. Now, there's certain things that can be put into evidence and other things that cannot be put into evidence during the trial. But during the sentencing phase, it's a little bit different. A little bit more of your past can come in. What Mark Storm has done in the past is he has usurped his will in 4 other occurrences. Those all turned to manage out. But what the judge did, he said that Mark Storm is a danger to society because of his mentality, his mens rea, his persona, what he feels like he should be doing inside the community, where he has this superhero idealistic thought of himself going into the situation. Now, he did several things wrong. This video isn't going to get into it. If you take my class, I will get into it. The innocence standard is far away one of the biggest things that he failed, and I'll just briefly go into it. He prolonged the fight. He initiated the fight. He escalated to deadly force with showing him the weapon. All right, the guy could defend himself after that. You know, if the deranged person was, you know, telling him off, he has a verbal confrontation for him. That's ordinary force. What Mark could only do is have a verbal conversation with him. But what did he do? He showed his badge, trying to be the authority figure. And anyone who shows that badge for someone to change a behavior is doing it for one reason, saying, I have authority over you to modify your behavior. That's what that badge did for him. Okay, when he laughed it off and said it was a fake, he showed him the gun. So he wasn't an innocent party. He provoked the fight. He prolonged the fight. He started the fight. He escalated the fight. The other part of this situation was a duty to retreat. Now, Pennsylvania isn't a duty to retreat state. Well, Pennsylvania is a duty to retreat state. However, it has requirements for that. Everyone during the trial saying, yes, he did have a path to escape, where his lawyer was trying to say that there was a disparity of force there. He was bigger, faster, stronger than Mark Storms. Therefore, there was a disparity of force on an immediate here and now basis, and that's why he used his gun. All right. But again, when you're dealing with those scenarios, if you're shooting an unarmed man, you need to have the right narrative where you are in immediate threat of death or great bodily harm, not the potential threat of death or great bodily harm, but the immediate threat. And the parishioners inside the church did back up this Mark Storms character. Okay. So again, I may get thumbs down for this video because I'm talking bad about a particular sheepdog mentality. I think there is a good sheepdog mentality, and I think there is guys who just push it overboard, especially since I've been doing this internet thing for, what, 4 to 6 years, doing castle tutelage, where I get this mentality a lot, where people think that they are the protectors of all, and they don't realize that if they usurp themselves into a scenario, they escalate the fight, they provoke the fight, they prolong the fight. It just doesn't look good. So again, you can use the badge. I belittle the badge all the time because I am a big narrative. When you have a self-defense shooting scenario, you have your narrative and you have the potential state's narrative. That concealed carry weapon badge, is it going to help your narrative or is it going to hurt your narrative? Because the people in the jury are going to look at you wearing that badge or showing that badge off to try to modify a behavior, and that is going to set you up what your mindset is. Mark Storms didn't have a position of authority in the church. He wasn't part of the security staff at all. He was a parishioner being there trying to hear the word of God, and his ego stepped in. His pride stepped in. 10 to 20 years for usurping his intent into a scenario he had no business in. Nobody was in immediate threat of death or great bodily harm when the deranged person was left alone. When everybody left him alone, he started being quiet. All right? Something to think about. Your mindset, your narrative. Is the situation of what you're doing, is it going to help your narrative or is it going to hurt your narrative? What is your perception going to be with the police officers, with the other people within the church, and the jury? My name is Jeff. This is Castle 228 Self-Defense Law Network. I hope this helped.